good evening, and welcome to Riderpiece Theater. Me, Alistair Dayhawk, and tonight, me proud to present Kamen Rider Geats, episode 38. The Nine Tails has arrived. I have to say this, guys. This episode for me felt meh. It felt flat for me for two reasons and two reasons only. The way they handle the death of Niram, to the way they handle the reunion of Ace and Mitsume. And my god, it wasn't bad, it's just that Mitsume didn't really talk at all. She used her voice over to do the talking for her. And I don't know if you've noticed, but Ace was talking, of course, normally, but when you hit Mitsume's scenes, you can see that her mouth was barely moving at all. And I'm like, what what's going on? Like are you using your voice without moving your mouth? Why are you using a recording? To me, that kind of ruined the moment for me. I wish the actress would have actually talked, but whoever made the idea of, oh, let's use the recording of her doing the talking while the actress just makes little to no movement of on her mouth. I'm like, nah, man, that's a bad way to. Nah, that's a poor decision making in my opinion. And the way they handle Niram's death, I wish they could handle it differently. Um, but that's just me. That's just my opinion there. Um, but in terms of the episode as a whole, this episode was all about Ace. The other writers had nothing to do with this at all because the moment the final ending, the grand ending hit, all the memories of the writers that remain, like Keiwa, Win, and Michinaga, the drivers are gone. So goes their memories, and we get to see Sarah and Neon living out their lives as if nothing has happened. But poor Kiru, he tries to reach out to her, make her remember, but unfortunately, she doesn't remember, which leaves Kiru leaving sad because at the end, you get to see Jean and Kiru and the rest of the people who came from the future leave our world. So yeah, um, other than that, that's it. But I have to give kudos to Keiwa because at least he tried to do something against the impending darkness. However, before he managed to transform, again, the effects of the grand ending started to take effect. The driver and the booster he had, the buckle he had, sorry, that it disappeared right in front of him. And when he came to, he had no idea, like, why is he even here? And he looks up with the sky being all black, and he's like, oh, Nande, what's going on here? So I had to give kudos to Kayla and his reactions. They're pretty priceless. Other than that, that's all for them. And then we get the truth that Sumeri is next in line to become the next goddess of creation. And Niram, for the first time, like, I was in shock that Niram was against this whole thing. He stood up against Surel and says, enough is enough. This is stupid. Like, this is not the DGP that I know. And he was been told lies after lies, and he stood up against him and at least tried to protect Sumeri, but he gets shot, not other than his former assistant. And she takes the vision driver that he owned and says, I will be your successor now, and gives it to Surel, which later he uses and becomes the next Gazer. And this is the part where I would where they handled Niram's death poorly, because suspension of disbelief. It's like after he got shot, shouldn't Sumeri would have taken him to the hospital or at least try to heal him? But it didn't happen, because towards the end, after Ace met his mom for one last time, um, he hides behind a wall on top of this building where Ace was, and says, all all the things he wanted to say to Ace before he disappeared, before he died. And to me, it was handled poorly. I wish he would have just approached Ace with gun wound, holding his wound, and Ace, like, even though he has a bitter hatred towards Niram, since he was a part of he's a part of the DGP, but he would have shown a little bit of compassion and maybe try to take him to the hospital. But this is where Niran says, you know what, Ace, you've been a thorn on my side, but you know what? I have respect for you. You're special. You are unique. You are defiant to a fault, and that's what I respect you. You're my bitter enemy, but at the same time, I have respect for you. And it's a tragedy I will never get to see this world of yours. And he disappears right in front of him, either on his arms or whatever it is. That's the way I would have done. I would have handled Niram's death. But instead, he talks while I don't know if Ace was listening at all, and then when he disappears, Ace turns around with this look on his face like, did I hear something? Like I don't know if Ace knew that Niram was hiding or something, but it's just the way they handled that scene with according because here's the thing. We have this picture that the actor has just received his flowers. So he is officially done with Kamen Rider Geats. His character is dead. And if that's his final scene, that's a bad way of handling that scene. But that's just my opinion. And then leading towards the reunion between Ace and Mitsume, again, they handled it poorly due to a bad decision, which is why did the people behind the scenes decided, hey, let's just, instead of the actress actually talking, just have a voice recording doing the talking for her, because the scenes with her, you barely see her mouth moving. Ace, yeah, you can tell he is literally talking, but Mitsume scenes, she's like almost like she is trying to I don't know, like mimic or copy her recordings or voice, whatever. I'm like, no, like, because of that decision making, the scene, in my opinion, just dropped. Like, it just turned me off. Like, it was meant to be a happy, sad reunion. Ace finally meets his mom after 2,000 years, and we get to listen and be there and say, and Ace having to say, hey, I have lots of things to say to you. I'm here to rescue you, and we're gonna be a family again. All these things, and also he mentions that I will make a world for everyone to be happy and that sort of thing. But it fell flat for me. It felt very flat for me. And whoever made that decision is Naughty, naughty. It was very bad. However, I'm not going to take away that particular reunion all that much, because either way, it was really sad because Niran dies, but also Mitsume dies. And we get to see Mitsume talking to her son for the first time since, she left. And she said, "Why did you search for me? I told you not to. I apologize for putting you in this position. Um, I need to pay for my sins. To you're my most pride and joy. Your father, your father was there, and he's happy. Like, for the two of us being parents of you, that was the most happiest we ever had." And yeah, we have a reference to Ace's a mention about Ace's father. And it sucks because, like, Ace is so focusing on rescuing his mom that he never really mentions about his father. He only mentions his mom, but never the dad. And it sucks, because I wanted to learn more about what happened to him, what led him to fall in love with Mitsume, and that sort of thing. But are we going to get that chance? I don't think so, which is a real tragedy, in my opinion. And towards the end, you start to see Mitsume starting to disappear, and Ace is crying like, "Please don't leave me, not again." And Mitsume, in her final words, says to her son that, "Hey, you're my pride and joy. What I want for you is to be happy. Find your happiness, find your family. I want you to be happy." And this is where Ace vows to her that I will recreate the world where everybody is happy. And Mitsume ends the conversation with, "I love you." They have a big hug, and she disappears. The statue gets destroyed, and yeah, Mitsume is officially dead. And yeah, I mean, this scene was meant to be powerful, but the decision of her not officially talking, it kind of, I didn't like it. It sucks. But that's just my opinion only. Um, Other than that, we get to see Ace's final form, the Mark 9. And so far, it looks pretty good. It's okay. I like it. And it sucks that we're not going to get a chance to see the Mark 3 anymore. I get the feeling that the Mark 3 is a one-shot deal. I don't see it coming back anytime soon. And it sucks because we never get a chance to see its full potential of being berserk. At least for other berserk forms, we get a chance to see it for an episode until they complete the form. But in this case, I don't see it happening. So now it's official. The Mark 9 form is the Mega form, and he ends up whipping Sorel's ass throughout the final match. It was a one-off match, and Ace has a unique ability now that he gets to destroy and rebuild. He has the power of creation and destruction. And he's OP right now. And the coolest thing about the fight is that not only he has the ability to destroy buildings, but also rebuild them. But also, there's a scene where he shushes, the sound goes mute, and he throws the sword towards Seru. And of course, Seru added a couple of shields, but the sword gets to destroy all but one of the shields, and he finishes his attack by using a rider kick at the sword, driving the sword to Sorel, and destroys him. So we thought. Because by the end of the fight, he reappears again, picks up the driver, and says, I'll be watching you and see if your world is a dystopia or a utopia, and disappears. Yes, and then to top it all off, the effects of the grand exit, the grand ending, whatever, gets uh it's not in void because now that Ace has the power of creation and destruction, he remakes the world anew. So in the next 12 episodes, we're going to be back at Ace's new ideal world. Mind you, Jean and Kiru are gone. They went back to the world. So all that remains is Azu 2.0, the Mistress of Games, and Kermit the Frog. The DGP is gone, but the remnants of their company, whatever, still remains. So we'll see what's going to happen in the last 12 episodes. Mind you, the scenes between Ace and his self-consciousness is all about him like arguing between himself. He's arguing with Ace 2, who is dressed up as a masked fox man with a Komodo, and he's arguing with himself that, hey, is destruction your ideal world? Is that what you really want? For 2,000 years you have done nothing. And then Ace replies with, destruction is not what I want. What I want is destruction and creation. And this is where the reveal of the masked man is Ace, and says, how foolish are you because you're repeating the sins of the mother, and disappears. And then we get to discover the truth that Sumori is next in line to become the next goddess of creation, and Sumori is shocked, but it's revealed that due to Sumorel's replication of Mitsume's powers, he implanted those powers into Sumori, and that's why when she prayed for Ace's return, it happened. So her powers of being a goddess has been unlocked, but thanks to Niram's attempt to protect her and standing up against Siru, he did one hero's act, but then the way the creative team handled his death just fell flat for me. I didn't like it. Even though, yes, Niram is a douchebag who loves to eat, but even he deserves an ending that is appropriated. But I don't know, it is what it is. That's just my opinion. And like I mentioned before, the other writers didn't do anything. The memories are erased now. And yeah, I think that's it, guys. Before I wrap this into a close, I would like to say thank you to the actor who played Niram. He done a great job, and his work on Kamen Rider Geats is complete. So I'd like to say thank you. Thank you so much for entertaining me. And yeah, I personally think they handled your death poorly, but at the end of the day, it's just my opinion only. So thank you so much for listening, guys. And what do you guys think about the episode? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? And also, I'm curious about what you guys think about the way they handled the reunion to the way they handled Niram's death. Because again, for me, I think their decisions on how they handled those two scenes just ended poorly, in my opinion. Once again, the complete Megaform, the Mark 9, looks pretty cool, and unfortunately, I don't think we get get the chance to see the Mark III form ever again, because I think it's just for one day only. But other than that, tell me what your overall thoughts of episode 38 and your overall thoughts of the new complete form of Kamen Rider Geats. Other than that, that is it, guys. Only 12 episodes left, and it sucks to see this great show go, but it is what it is. Thank you so much for listening. Please give a like and subscribe, and and most of all, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much. And I'll see you all on the other side of Oblivion. And thank you, Niram, for your part in Kamen Rider Geats. Until we see you again in future projects. And hopefully in the last episode too. じゃあね